All right, fire away.
It's become clear you guys have three pretty good running backs you like. Just what goes into using which particular back at which time in the game right now?
Yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily a specific method other than just knowing you have depth. All those guys, they bring a little bit of different talent to that position. Obviously, with McKinnon, he's been in the league a little while. He's very smooth. You saw what he could do the last couple of years here and last year in the screen game and what he did the last, end of the Super Bowl to get down when he did. And the rest of those guys, I mean, with Pacheco coming in as a young guy, still learning, eager, energy, juice. And Clyde, I mean, he's had a really good training camp. He's been great in the room. He's been great out there when given opportunities, and so we feel really good with all three.
With Rashee Rice, I think he's second or third target so far. Just his development and how you've been getting him to the point where he has been targeted so much, and just the trust level he has with Patrick.
Yeah, I think time's been great for him, meaning that the more time he has, the more confidence he gets, in himself with practice, with the timing with Pat. And then he's able to show what he can do to us as coaches. There's a trust factor to that, and he comes in, and I remember specifically in OTAs when he got here, it just felt like he was drinking water out of a fire hydrant with just so much volume, even in OTAs. To where he's at now, you can see and feel the confidence that he has breaking the huddle, getting lined up at the line of scrimmage. And so that's great for us because he's ultra talented. He has a lot of great skills, and we want to be able to use them and watch him continue to grow.
Pat's compared him to Sammy Watkins as far as what he brought to the table. Do you see that, and in what way?
I do. Now, I wasn't here with Sammy other than just seeing him on tape and just seeing what type of explosive player he was and is. And I can see that. There's a nice size factor with Rashee. He's big. I know Sammy was big, but yet explosive. And so strong hands. You saw it the other day, those two catches down in the red zone. He caught that football, and he just bursted, through for an extra 5 or 6 yards. And I think the biggest thing with him is just going to be that confidence of learning the system and then us learning who he is and trying to match those two together with him.
This league can be such a copycat league in a lot of ways, but no one has seemed to really copycat this, Eagles quarterback sneak push thing. Why do you think that is that people aren't trying to do exactly the way they do it?
Well, you see some teams that are, but then you see others that aren't. I think there's different reasons that go into it. There is a technique to it when you watch the Eagles do it. Even when you know it's coming, those guys get super low and they do things off of it. So there's time invested in that. And so I think for teams that want to do it, and for the Eagles, they've been able to be great at it and be very successful. And I think it's just probably a little bit of each your own. But that's not something where you just line up and say, oh, hey, everybody just push forward and try to get the first. There's a lot of technique and detail and practice that goes into it.
Is it a good position to be in? Because after the game, a lot of guys still said there's a lot they had to work on, even though you come off of a game that's 41-10. You wouldn't think that, but
talked a little bit about, hey, where are you guys at offensively? And one of the things I discussed was just creating that identity of who we are and trying to figure out between weeks 1 and 4, then 5 through 8, and then you get halfway through the season, you start to realize where guys are and what they do, is always building that identity. Each year and every year is going to be different, and I think we've been able to kind of make sure that we emphasize where we've struggled in years past and or this year, how to get better at it. Know that defenses are always going to try to, you get early in the season, you're going to see some unscouted looks, and teams are going to throw some things at you that you got to be able to adjust to.
Coach, did you notice a difference in Travis Kelce last Sunday?
Last Sunday, a difference? No. Travis is a unique individual. I've had the luxury of being with him from his rookie year. Most of his career, other than the years I was gone. But, when he's out there at practice, when he's in the games, that rapport he has with Pat, I think everything has been, for him, kind of who he is. And I personally didn't notice anything different.
He had a superstar cheering for him personally.
He did.
He kept looking up in the box on different shots. So you didn't notice he's a little smiling more, a little pep in his step a little more?
It doesn't shock me at all. Doesn't surprise me, but I personally didn't notice that. Maybe I should have, but I know when he scored that touchdown, he seemed very excited. Pat was excited, and It's always probably a pretty good thing when you score a touchdown and you have people there that are watching that you want to watch.
Matt, the connection between Travis and Patrick, just wondering from like your years of dealing with quarterbacks and wide receivers, like how difficult that is to obtain.
It's hard because you're talking about two guys that have the instincts that not many people have. But I will say too, in this past week isn't the first time, obviously, where they've done some things within a route that has been a little bit unscripted. That's been going on for years and years, and there's a balance because sometimes when you're watching tape with these rookies or guys that come in, well, why did Kelce do that or do this? Well, he has an innate ability to recognize defenses. I mean, it's on another level. What's crazier is the fact that Pat knows it too without them. There's sometimes we don't even practice it. They just do it. So when you have that and you incorporate that into your scheme and what you do, there's a lot of trust as coaches that they're going to do that. But you also need to make sure that the other players understand that that's what that is. There's some stuff in there DNA-wise between those two guys that a lot of people don't have. They have that connection.
So how would like one of these rookie or less experienced wide receivers, even if it takes years, like what would be the process of getting them to that point?
Over time, studying defenses, again, I remember when Kelce came in his rookie year and his second year, and then as he grew into his third year, you kind of put your own spin onto how you run certain specific routes. So everybody's a little bit different talent-wise what they have. Trav just has that uniqueness of the speed, the savviness, the hands, the high football IQ. When you put it all together, I mean, he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Fame tight end.
Did it
help him that he was once a quarterback?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that, Adam. I think for sure. All these guys, even guys like McKinnon and anybody that has played the quarterback position, they usually have a feel in that kind of stuff. And then you take his size, talent, everything else, and throw it all together, and it works pretty well.
With Coach Reed, is that you better score type of situation?
You better score more often than not, and there better be something bad that does not come from it. One of those deals. And those guys are smart enough to understand that.
Justin Watson has played pretty well his first couple few weeks. Do you feel like he's not getting the recognition that he deserves, or is it better he just kind of flies under the radar?
I don't think he's looking for a recognition at all. I remember him coming in last year and just wanting to just soak up the offense terminology, what we do, and now he's having opportunities, and he doesn't get tired in practice. He doesn't get tired in games. His motor's going nonstop, and I think there's a trust that's being built between him and Patrick right now, and that's great. And so we want to keep building on that. We need that, and Justin has done a great job in meetings, which extends to the practices.
Two more, Todd and Nick.
We should probably ask you something about the Jets. You guys are playing the Jets this week. Been so much attention on their quarterback position and all things that's happened there, but their defense was highly thought of coming in. Just what is the challenge going to be like for you guys against this bunch?
It's a big time challenge. I mean, when you watch the tape on this defense, they don't do a whole lot. There's some defenses that do a lot. This is not one of those defenses, but what this defense does is they play very, very hard. They're physical. This is one of those ones that you hear the cliche, going back in a dark alley, it's going to be a fist fight. I mean, these guys are good. They're not just good on the front level. They're not just good on the second level. And they're not just good on the third level. They're good in all three. They're well coached. And, we have our hands full, but we are excited for that opportunity. But this isn't something with this defense that is just once every couple weeks. This is every week they produce and they stress an offense. So, big, and we got to make sure that we have a great week, continue to have a great week of practice, but that respect level for that defense is real.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, Matt, from your times in Chicago, I know it's not happening this week, but from your times in Chicago, what were those weeks like going up when you were preparing for Rodgers and having to go against him from an offensive perspective?
Yeah, it wasn't fun. It was always a challenge because he's such an amazing quarterback. Just the things that he did is special. It's unfortunate to see what happened to him, but it's a part of this business, and you hate to see it for the game. You hate to see it for him. I have so much respect for him. So, but we'll see. We got to go there and play our game.